Hi, this is Ed Amoroso. I'm from Tag Cyber. I'm here talking to a good friend of mine, Dexter Caffey, who is the CEO of a company called Smart Eye Technology. Dexter, welcome.
Thank you guys so much for having me on today.
You bet. Hey, I said CEO, but you have a much cooler title that you use. Why don't you, it's Chief Disruptor? Is that what I understand? Is that the
Abs-
title?
Absolutely, Chief Disruptor. I always like to look at the world in a different way and to see how things can be done differently. And so that's why I went with the Chief Disruptor versus the CEO title.
The disruptor has this image of taking something that's kind of messed up and messing it up more, or doing something that needs to be done. Is that something that you do with your team, like kind of make sure that you guys are changing the status quo a little bit?
Yeah, in other words, not being the same as everybody else or doing things the same old way, old-fashioned way that everybody else did things. In other words, looking at the world in a completely different light, unlike it has ever been seen before. So that's what I'm passionate about, just really doing something completely different and something that looks like it's never been done before. That's what I'm passionate about.
Well, we're going to hear a little bit about that. Now, before we get into a little bit about you, why don't you give us just a real brief summary of Smart Eye Technology so we have context, and then we'll go back and I'm going to ask you how you got into this. But tell us about the company first.
Okay, Smart Technology is actually a brand that we did a startup as about 2.5 years ago. What happened? I was actually in Israel about 2.5 years ago, and I was at a cybersecurity event, and I was sitting next to this cybersecurity expert. And what happened, Ed? He and I were talking, and I looked at his laptop that he had in front of him, and I was able to see documents. I saw Word documents, I saw PDF documents, and I just said to myself, I said, why should I see any document that's on this guy's laptop? It's none of my business. I said, what if we could create an app called Smarter Technology that would shut off if Ed or anybody else physically looked at my screen? And it sounded absolutely crazy, and it was something that nobody believed we could actually do. And literally, I just set out and met with some Israeli software developers in the Tel Aviv area, and we sat down and we talked, and they thought I was crazy. And 2.5 years later, we're actually on the App Store.
Now, we're going to have to back up because not just anybody can come up with this idea. How'd you get into it? What's your background? What got you interested in this sort of thing?
Actually, my background is financial services, so it was not technology. So
Oh,
for the last 20 years, I've owned my own what's called futures and options brokerage firm, where I dealt with major institutions when it comes to doing things like hedging, like corn, wheat, soybeans, S&P futures, bond futures, and I've been doing that for the last 20 years. And technology has always been my passion. And what happened again when I saw that opportunity, I said, "Wait a minute, this why is this the case where I can see this guy's lap information on his screen?" And so, literally, again, my background is not technology, so I kind of looked at the world in a completely different way than what people inside of technology would normally look at the world. Because most, as you know, Ed, most people look at the world from inside of the inside of your computer, and they say, "Hey, listen, I looked at it from the outside." I said, "Why should you see my screen?"
now, did you just up and leave another job to start the company?
Well,
Taking a lot of guts.
yeah, actually, what I did, it was very interesting because as a small financial services firm, I literally just took the risk and I actually grabbed a group of investors to say, hey, listen, I have this crazy idea. I remember sitting with my first investor. I sat down and said, listen, I have this crazy idea. I want my laptop or my mobile phone to shut off if it sees your face and you're looking at my document that's in my Smart Eye app. And he looked at me and said, okay, that sounds interesting. And he said, so what do you want from me? And I said, I need $50,000 today. And he said, so you want me to be the first sucker? And I said, yes, I mean investor. So so that's how it all started. And again, it's been the last 2.5 years we spent millions of dollars in getting the software created that is now on the App Store, and it'll soon be on the Android store later on, either this week or early next week.
Now, take us through the use case. How does the software work? Like, if I wanted to use it, or people watching right now, if they wanted to, what would they be getting if they bought your product?
Well, actually, right now it's free on the App Store as of
Okay,
right
that's
now,
a good
and
price.
so it's
How you gonna get your $50,000 back?
well, we've got a plan for that. We've got a plan for that. So
Okay.
right now, if you think about it, one of the biggest problems that you know inside of corporate America is if you look at like a vendor and a vendor slash supplier situation. In other words, what happens is this, and I hear this a lot. If a vendor, let's say, hey Ed, this is Dexter. We had a slight change in our banking instructions. I need for you
Hmm.
to change our wiring instructions today. And by the way, it was nice to see you at the party last night. That email didn't come from Dexter. It came from a hacker. So now, Ed, you change my wiring instructions and you send that $50,000 over to supposedly Dexter. Now it's right into the pocket of a hacker.
Mhm.
This is happening every single day. So whenever you send actually documents inside of Smart Eye technology, you know that it's verified through facial recognition. We use biometric facial recognition, voice recognition, and you can verify the person on the other end. And so we have a control panel inside of Smart Eye that allows you to only collaborate with organizations that you allow. So in other words, you will never receive a random document from someone that you don't know. It's not like an email. It's actually so what you as the company has to say, I'll accept you or deny your organization to collaborate. If you deny me, Ed, no one in your organization can send me any documents. And if you accept me, every single person in your organization can send me documents because you allowed my organization to do business with your organization. So therefore, you're not allowing anyone from the outside to even talk to you because guess what? You didn't get them permission to even talk to you.
Is this the kind of thing like just big companies would do, or do you think you see small, medium, large companies and
No,
everyone?
actually, small and medium-sized businesses would definitely use this because they're, as you know, with the work-at-home situation,
Yeah.
normally you would walk next door to the CFO's office and say, hey, Bob, do you want that $25,000 check to go to your favorite organization? He said, what are you talking about? I never sent you an email for that. Now you can't walk next door to his office. Why? Because we're all working from home. So as a result of that, hackers are sending that information over to people like a CFO requesting that $25,000 check. And guess what? That person didn't have time to talk to the CFO to get the strong details of why you requested that $25,000. Now you have a real problem.
Mhm. Now, I would imagine at the root of this would be some technologies like certainly multi-factor authentication is the broad category, but I'm assuming you're using like encryption and some other things in there as part of the both algorithms and protocols. Tell me a little bit about the tech that's involved, and I know you have some tech partners that you're using to enhance the product.
Absolutely. For our encryption, it's AES 256 encryption, and we're going to have that in by the end of July for companies to actually access. So basically, it's at rest in your cloud environment, or it's also in motion as well. And
Mhm.
we'll also have it to where basically in the next few months, it'll be really you'll know it. The document will know exactly where it's supposed to go and which device it's supposed to end up on. If it doesn't end up on the wrong device, it's not going to that device. So it's very sophisticated technology behind the scenes going on.
I would imagine a lot of these hacks that we read about every week after week after week, a lot of them probably wouldn't happen if people would manage their intellectual property, their documents, their repositories a little better. Is that what you're kind of hoping that people use this and reduce the breach risk?
Absolutely. Well, when it comes to looking at data, one of the biggest problems is data loss. And how
Mhm.
does it happen? It happens physically from people viewing your screen, which none of us think about. Think about it. When you go into a coffee shop and you look around, you can see all those screens. And guess what? I've seen private data that people were working on, and I said, look at this. I mean, I've seen legal documents that were being worked on. I've seen financial documents that were being worked on, and I just said to myself, "Look at this! This is insane that people are working in the open public with this information." So, if let's say, for example, if you wanted to send someone board minutes, and you use some type of system where a person could just open it up on their computer, log into that system, and see those board minutes. Well, guess what? If they're at the coffee shop and they happen to walk away from their computer,
Yeah.
guess what's open? This is a real situation. That it's a real problem that has never really been addressed.
I see it a lot on trains and airplanes as well. Like if you're sitting on a train for a 3 or 4 hour ride, sometimes you can pretty much shoulder surf what somebody's doing across the aisle the whole ride.
And you're right about that, Ed, because I was when we were able to travel several months ago, I was actually at an airport and I was actually at a hamburger shop. And so at the airport, getting a hamburger, and I was playing around with Smart Eye. I actually had it up where I could physically look at documents. And what happened, my what's called multiple viewers notification came on. And that simply is if somebody's looking over my shoulder and physically looking at my screen, you'll see where it says multiple viewers because it recognizes just my face and is constantly scanning my face every moment that that document is open. And whenever it recognizes somebody else besides me, multiple viewers would pop up and say, "Hey, Dexter, there's multiple viewers looking at the document on your screen." So I was at the
Wow.
hamburger shop, and this lady was looking dead at my screen, and my warning sign came on and said multiple viewers. I said, "No, there's nobody behind me. It's impossible." And I turned around, and she was looking dead at my screen just like that. And I said to myself, I said, this is crazy. So this is the reality of what's going on out there when people are actually looking at your screen and you're really not thinking about it. So for example, just to give you a quick example, I'm gonna pull up a document here and it's going to scan my face initially and I'm going to turn it towards the camera. So what you'll notice is it's constantly scanning my face every moment that I'm looking at this. So when I turn away from it, watch what happens.
Wow, that's cool.
Warning.
Yeah.
You see that? So and now it's back in front of me. And now the document is actually back open to me. Now I turn it back around and it quickly shut it down because it no longer recognizes my face anymore because its job is to constantly scan my face to verify that Dexter is the only person who's looking at that document.
That's very cool. Do you see mobile as being one of the more important use cases for?
Absolutely. Mobile is definitely, right now, we're a mobile first app right now. We do have a web app that'll be out within a couple months. So in September, people will be able to use Smart Eye on their laptop as well as desktop computer. So if you are looking at your laptop and you happen to bend over to pick up a piece of paper, Smart Eye quickly pops up and says, warning, away from phone.
I have a feeling this is going to be pretty popular. Have you talked to any sort of compliance or audit type folks? Because this sort of thing doesn't pop up like in a typical framework. If you and I had one of the NIST or other frameworks in front of us, we wouldn't find anything like this. What do you think? Are you out on the? I guess nobody's out on the lecture circuit anymore. We can all get back to work. But are you having some dialogue with folks who write those requirements?
Absolutely. I talked to a lot of people in the CISO community, and some of their biggest concerns with the issues that they're seeing is document control. In other words, if I sent you a document, Ed, I don't know what you're going to do with my document. You can show your friends, you can show a coworker, you can show anybody that you want with that document. Smart Eye stops that. It's only going to just be shown to just your face and your face only. So nobody will be able to see that document that I sent you. So if your friend grabbed your phone and said, let me click on this document that Dexter sent Ed, it's not going to open up for them. It'll say, warning, wrong face. Can't open up for this person. And so whenever I send you a document, Ed, the cool thing about Smart Eye technology is that it has levels of security, biometric security. So I can send you a document that requires your face to be recognized, your voice to be recognized, your fingerprint, or your what we call print behavior. Print behavior is basically where your hand moves around, and we know how your hands move, so we can understand how you write. So when I send you a document, all those things could be recognized first before my document opens up to you. If one of those things are not recognized, it's not going to open up to you.
It's pretty unique. I talk to more cybersecurity companies than maybe anybody on the planet. That's all I do all day long. And this is unique. I'm very, very excited for you. Now, we have some common friends. I know my friends over at Certainty have some of their technology embedded in your solution. Is
Absolutely.
that part of
Yeah.
the secret sauce in here?
Yes, absolutely. Certainty is a major partner of ours, and they've been a wonderful partner. And we're going to do a lot more with their security behind Smart Eye. And I think that with that combination of that, it's going to be an amazing product over the next couple months for people to actually enjoy.
Now, where are you guys? Tell us about the company. Where are you guys located, and where's everybody working?
We're located here in Atlanta, Georgia, beautiful Atlanta. So we've been here, like I said, for the last 2.5 years, and it's been wonderful. There's a lot of really good technology individuals here in Atlanta who, because of this economy, we're able to find some really good talent.
Yeah, there's great universities. I remember
Absolutely.
back in my AT&T days, I used to go down and visit and look out over the campus of Georgia Tech, and there's some really amazing engineers kind of filling into that community. So they
Absolutely.
turned into such a cool tech hub. It's good because enough of this West Coast stuff, right? It's nice to see it.
That's funny.
Right?
Definitely.
I
You're right
like to see
about that.
those companies doing well. Well, that's really great. Well, I have a feeling you're going to be super successful. Now, like you said, you saw this problem and you're building a company now to fill it. So you got a pretty good eye for problems. What do you think when you look kind of into the future, like with your own company, as you guys evolve? What sorts of things do you think you'll be doing in a few years? Like, do you think it'll be artificial intelligence embedded in what you're doing, or you think little robots will be using smart eye
Well,
technology, or what?
absolutely. We've got a big list coming up. And one of the features, I'm glad you mentioned that, Ed. One of the features that we actually have coming out is the ability to sign a document inside of Smart Eye. So you'll be able to
Oh,
sign a document. So I can send you a document through our app. You'll receive that notification in our Smart Eye technology app. And then you can sign a document with your finger inside of the app. And the cool thing about it, I can verify that Ed actually signed my document. Why? Through facial recognition. Right now, if you send me a document through one of the major channels of sending documents, and one of the companies actually provide that, I cannot verify that Ed was a person who actually signed that document. I don't know. Maybe
yeah.
Ed's friend was in his computer and he signed that document. So I can't verify it. How can I verify it was your signature? I can't. But through Smart Eye, through facial recognition, we'll be able to verify that Ed was the one who actually signed that document. So we'll have that in Smart Eye within the next few weeks, actually.
So that gives you the second factor. That gives you the additional verification of what's going on.
Absolutely. I can now verify that you signed for that $10 million house that you didn't want to buy.
Or if I'm like, if I take a tip from you and I buy a bunch of pork bellies from my grocery,
And I can say, hey, listen, I didn't give Ed that tip. Listen.
I'm going to get a tip from you before we finish here. I need to make some money. Hey,
And
let me
what,
ask you about the industry. Like, as you're out recruiting, are you finding, like, people talk about skill shortages and stuff? I'm curious what you think as a founder. Is it easy to find some people that work on your team and that are what's been your experience?
Well, I'll tell you, Ed, over the past several months, since we had a lot of people being laid off, there's a lot more talent around. Just 90 days ago, it was difficult to even have conversations with people because they said, "No, I work for this company. There's no way I want to work at a startup. I'll make this." Now we're actually having conversations with a lot of those people who we couldn't have had conversations with before. And for small businesses, as you know, when the economy does have a turn down, talent becomes available.
It doesn't, it's funny. I mean, I'm a little biased here, but I don't think cybersecurity is taken as much of a hit as maybe some adjacent areas. I mean, it seems like, and I have my finger on the pulse pretty heavily and watch carefully. I really haven't seen too many aspects of what you and I do
Mhm.
that have lost revenue or dropped or slowed down. Certainly some of the sectors that you might be selling to, like if you're selling to an airline, you might see some delays in those orders. But apart from that, have you seen anything? I mean, I just haven't seen a slowdown in cybersecurity at all. And I do lament these other industries that are suffering, and certainly feel for all the
Right.
nurses hard. But
Yeah, not really a slowdown, but I've seen talent become available, and because it wasn't necessarily maybe a person who worked directly in security, it may have been someone who worked in that area, and
yeah,
so it's a lot more people available now than it was, like I said, 90 days ago. I mean, it was very difficult because as a small business, you fight for talent, and as a result of that, since things have slowed down, it's humbled some people out there. And again, we're not, like you said, it's not a massive impact, but there is some areas where I do see some talent that like I said, I talked to previously that now we're able to have real conversations now.
I forgot to ask you. I want to ask you how you do with government. I would think government customers might have some interest in this. I can think of a million use cases for that. What's been your experience there?
We haven't really gone into that space yet because, as you know, it takes a long time in that space and mainly, I tell you, our real interest initially when I started Smart Eye, Ed, I thought it would be mainly small to medium-sized businesses that had an interest in using Smart Eye to protect their screens and documents. But actually, it's large enterprises and it kind of blows my mind because I've had
Done.
conversations with some of the largest publicly traded companies in the world. And it blows my mind to see that interest. And I didn't think so. I thought it was small to medium sized businesses that had the key interest, but it's been these large enterprises. And that really surprised me. It really did.
That's interesting. Now, what's the best way for people to try out your tech? What do you recommend?
Right now, they can go to the iOS store and they can actually type in Smart Eye Tech file protection. Smart Eye, like your eye, Smart Eye, like your eye, Tech. file protection, and it'll come up for them, and they can actually download the app. And I'd love for them to put their feedback up on our post that we have up there. Put your feedback up there, good, bad, all of it. We want it because this helps us grow. They can also go to our website, getsmarteye.com, getsmarteye.com, and they can go there to see some of the videos that we have up there. So you can see videos up there. So Ed, if you ever want to send somebody some pictures that you didn't want other people to see, if you didn't want, maybe some funny pictures you didn't want other people to see, you can send them through Smart Eye, and the only person who can see it is just the person that you sent it to.
Well, that sounds like a lot of use cases that would certainly fit my day to day. I would imagine as you guys grow, you'll have enterprise offers and things. Is that how that your business model will be with enterprise? Is that the idea?
Yeah, actually, we're talking to several enterprises right now, and so it's amazing. And like I said, it really does blow my mind to see the amount of interest, because I didn't think so. That was the last thing that I was really expecting when it came to us starting up, because I remember telling my board that our target was small to medium-sized businesses, and we've talked to some of the largest companies in the world. And what's crazy, I never picked up the phone and called any one of them. They actually were put in contact with us through people we know, and it just happened that way. I never once picked up the phone and called them. So it's amazing that this is happening.
Well, Dexter, on behalf of the people listening, I want to thank you. You got a lot of cool energy. I think if you got an opening, I'm going to apply and come to work for you. You look like a fun company, and you seem like you'd be an awesome boss. So I want to wish you nothing but the best with your company, with your technology. It is unique, and
Thank you.
I have some particular interest in what you're doing.
Download the app today. Download it today and let me know.
You are going to be very successful. I've looked at a lot of entrepreneurs, and I can see the energy and passion, and it's really, really infectious.
Thank you, Ed.
So keep it up.
I appreciate it.
Do a good job down there in Atlanta, keeping everybody busy, and continue building out the tech hub there. Dexter Caffey, the Chief Disruptor and CEO at Smart Eye Tech. Thanks so much for spending time. I enjoyed it, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you so much for having me on your show, Ed.
It was wonderful. Thanks, everyone, for watching.